Ethan Miller, who lived in the quiet town of Grayland in the U.S. state of Michigan, had an unusual passion. He was obsessed with bringing broken, abandoned, and forgotten cars back to life. Vintage cars were his weakness. He often said that old cars didn't just contain metal. They carried memories and buried stories. One evening, he arrived at the garage of his close friend Mark Henderson. Mark was a well-known mechanic in the city, famous for restoring cars that had been destroyed in accidents. The moment Ethan stepped into the garage, his eyes locked onto a single vehicle. It was a 1970 Ford Impala, jet black, its body gleaming, but despite its beauty, there was something unsettling about it. The car seemed soaked in an unexplainable sadness. Ethan spoke without realizing it. "Mark, this car, did you really restore it?" Mark took a drag from his cigarette and replied, "Yes, but you're seeing it after the work. When I brought it in, it was nothing but a bloody wreck." Ethan stiffened. "Bloody?" Mark lowered his voice. "There was a horrific accident on Highway 17. The car plunged into a ravine. The police recovered the bodies, or maybe not all of them." Ethan changed the subject, but his eyes refused to leave the car. Moments later, he made his decision. "I want to buy this car." That same night, he drove it home. His house stood on the outskirts of town. As soon as the car entered the garage, his dog Rocky began barking wildly. Rocky stared at the car, then into the darkness, then stepped back as if terrified of something invisible. Ethan scolded him. "Quiet!" But there was no defiance in Rocky's eyes, only fear. At around 3 in the morning, Ethan was deep asleep when a sharp sound jolted him awake. A horn, not once, but again and again. His heart pounded. He rushed downstairs, but the garage was empty. The car was locked. No one was there. The next day, he went out for a long drive. He increased his speed on the highway. Suddenly, a state trooper's vehicle appeared behind him and pulled him over. The officer said, "Slow down. You have a family sitting in your car." Ethan froze. "What family? I'm alone." The officer stared at him for a few seconds, then said in an unsettling tone, "Look in the mirror." Ethan glanced at the rearview mirror, and his soul trembled. A blood-soaked woman was sitting in the back seat. Beside her were 2 children, their eyes hollow and empty. Blood dripped from their clothes. Ethan screamed and turned around. There was nothing there. When he returned home, he turned on all the security cameras. At 3:27 a.m., the footage revealed everything. The car door opened by itself. First, one child stepped out, then the other, then the woman. They were completely silent. Their feet never touched the ground. The woman held the children's hands and placed them back into the car, closing the door. The next day, Ethan forced Mark to take him to the accident site. Near Highway 17, there was a deep ravine. Ethan climbed down. 3 skeletons lay there. 1 woman, 2 children. Unburied, unremembered. Ethan immediately called the police and rescue services. The remains were finally buried. After that night, the horn never sounded again. No shadow appeared in the mirror, and Rocky never barked at the garage again, as if those souls had finally found peace.